Hey, I'm Kenneth Wajda. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado. Welcome to another one of my photo chats. So today I want to talk about a photograph. And you're saying, no, give me gear. No more gear. No gear. We'll have gear at times. Just not today. Because I want to talk about a photograph and how I made it. And there's a good story about the making of this photograph. So I'll call it Drinker with Hose. And I'll put a link to it down in the show notes. See, because I shoot street photography, but not looking for them. I just have the camera at my ready. It's a D610 with sometimes a 28. Right now there's a 19 to 35 zoom lens on it that I picked up for $20 at a estate sale. And I just drive along with the camera set for 4,000ths of a second, f8, ISO 800. And I know anything that's happening out of any window, I can just point and shoot without taking my eyes off the road, and I can freeze whatever it is. It may not be any good, but it will be in the frame. I'm using such a wide angle lens. It'll be in focus because I'm shooting at f8 with a wide angle lens. And it'll be sharp because I'm shooting at a 4,000th of a second. So the other day I was house sitting for a friend. And when I came back to my house in the middle of the day for a little bit, I drove by the street that I usually turn down to come to my house, and it was road closed, construction. So I went to the next block, and on my left, out my left window, there was a family of like 4 people, young people, older people, middle children, teenagers, and they were all out there raking and hoeing, and it looked like they were planting grass seed. But the whole family, it was like a family affair. And I thought that would be a good little Americana photograph. A little yard, everybody at work. But I had to turn, and I couldn't get it. I couldn't get the window down in time. I had to turn. So I turned, I went around the block, I came back up, and I thought, well, I'll try it again. So I go by again, have the window open, have the camera in my lap. All I have to do is at that moment go and keep driving, make that next turn again. But when I go past the second time, the woman with the red hair is looking right at me. And I don't want a photo of her looking at me. I want a photograph of them doing their thing. And she was growing grass seed out. But I couldn't get that because she wasn't doing that when I came by. She was just looking at me. And I don't want that. And I also don't want to reveal that I want to photograph it. So I went around again. Now, some people would quit right about then. And I thought, worst that can happen is nothing. So I went around again. Came back up to the light. I could see, while I was sitting at the light, I could see them. And one of them was pulling out a hose, I'm assuming to water the lawn. But instead, she held it out for the other woman to get a drink from the hose. And it just so happened to line up that as I passed by, there's this little Americana scene going on that is perfect for my street photography project. And a couple frames later, I make that turn again. I come home, I park, and I see what I got. And now you can see what I have. Because sometimes it takes working a shot. Sometimes you know there's something there, there's gold to be mined, but you didn't get it in one. And you might have to go back. I couldn't get it in 2, but I got it in 3. And the point is, things are worth going back for. I know Jay Maisel talks about if you see something that you want to stop for, don't think about it, just stop. As soon as you start thinking, you'll never go. Because you've just gone a half a mile, you don't feel like going a half a mile back, so forget it. But tomorrow when you go by there, it won't be there. You have to stop immediately. For me, I saw an opportunity, and I thought that would be a good photo. It could be a good Roy Stryker photo, it could be a good street photo, it could be something. Couldn't get it, go around the block. She's looking at me, go around the block. Next time, it's a gold winner. So, always remember, nobody is magically doing great work all the time. They're just lucky. They're just at the right place at the right time. And they're ready. Luck happens to people who are ready to be lucky. And it's a good example when people say, how do you improve your street photography? I go, what are you talking about? It's all just a randomness. It's depending on where I got coffee today tells me whether I got a photo of that dad with his boy at the barber shop, if you remember that photo. If I had gone to a different coffee shop, I wouldn't have gotten that. I didn't improve my photography by going to a different coffee shop. I just happened to get lucky that day because where I went, there was an opportunity. So there is no such thing as, oh, well, there could be a technique thing if you don't know how to use your camera and you can't shoot quick. I can shoot extremely quickly. There's no focus needed out a window with a 20 or 28 millimeter lens shooting at f8. Everything's in focus as long as it's not focused at 2 inches. Everything's in focus. So luck happens when you're ready. Have the camera in your hand. Have it turned on. Have your hand on the shutter button. And if you see something, shoot it. Because those are the ways that the luck happens. Because we're ready to be lucky, and we get lucky. All right, I'll put a photo link down below. Take a look. I like it a lot. I hope you do too. That's today's photography talk. If you're enjoying these, hit the subscribe button. If you can support, hit the Patreon. Thanks to all my supporters. Go out and make some great photos. I'll see you next week. Here's the great